Every once in a while, an athlete comes along who doesn't just play the game of basketball, but changes it forever. In the 1980s, the NBA went from a struggling league on the edge of collapse to a global phenomenon, and at the center of it all was a 6'9" point guard with a smile as big as his game, Earvin "Magic" Johnson. From the streets of Lansing, Michigan to the bright lights of Los Angeles, Magic didn't just dominate the game of basketball, he redefined it. This is the story of Magic Johnson, the man who built the Showtime NBA Lakers and saved basketball as we know it today. Chapter 1: Origins. Earvin Johnson Jr. was born on August 14, 1959 in Lansing, Michigan. His father, Earvin Sr., worked long shifts at General Motors and did janitorial work on the side. His mother, Christine, on the other hand, was a school custodian. Together, they raised 10 children in a tight-knit working-class household. Growing up in Lansing wasn't easy. This was an industrial city built on the back of plants. The opportunities were very limited, especially for African-American families. But what the Johnson family lacked in wealth, they made up for in discipline and love. Earvin Sr. believed in hard work. He taught young Magic to get up early, sweep floors, and never complain. His mother, Christine, taught him humility and kindness. And together they raised the boy who would shine not just for his basketball skills, but for his spirit on and off the court. High school dominance. In high school at Everett, Magic exploded. By his sophomore year, the city of Lansing knew his name. By his junior year, the state knew his name. And by the time he was a senior, the whole country did. In one game, he recorded 36 points, 18 rebounds, and 16 assists. A local sport writer, Fred Stabley Jr., saw the performance and gave him a nickname that would stick for the rest of his life: Magic. And it wasn't just a name, it was a prophecy. But it's important to understand the era. In the 1970s, basketball was not yet a glamorous global game it would become today. The NBA was struggling. College basketball, however, was growing, especially in the Midwest. Schools like Michigan State and Indiana State were fueling regional pride, and it was here that young Magic would take his next step. Young Magic found basketball early. He would carry a ball everywhere he went, dribbling down sidewalk, practicing passes against brick walls and shooting at hoops until the sun went down. The Lansing local basketball court became his laboratory, his classroom, and his sanctuary. He wasn't just taller than other kids on the court, he also saw the game differently. Where others saw a shot, young Magic would pass the ball. Where others slowed the game down, he sped the game up. Even as a child, his vision and IQ was ahead of his time. College at Michigan State. In 1977, Magic Johnson chose Michigan State University. For him, it wasn't about the national spotlight, it was about staying close to home, where his family and community could see him play. It was a decision rooted in loyalty, in the same values he'd been raised on. At Michigan State, Magic didn't just blend in, he became the team's heartbeat. Under coach Judd Heathcote, he developed as a floor general, always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. He averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in his freshman year, and he was already turning heads across the country. The rivalry with Larry Bird begins. In the late 1970s, there was another rising star, a lanky forward from French Lick, Indiana, named Larry Bird. While Magic Johnson lit up the Big Ten, Bird carried Indiana State on his back, and the two were destined to meet. In the 1979 NCAA Championship, it was Michigan State against Indiana State, Magic versus Bird. It was the biggest college basketball game ever played, with over 35 million people tuning in. At a time when the NBA was struggling, this game showed the country just how influential and powerful basketball could be. Magic Johnson delivered with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists as he led Michigan State to victory. Larry Bird, on the other hand, struggled under the Spartans' defense, scoring 19 points but shooting poorly. Magic was named the most outstanding player, and though the game ended that night, the rivalry was just beginning. This was more than a college championship, it was the beginning of something larger. Bird versus Magic. Two players from different backgrounds, different styles, different regions, yet forever linked together. They would lift basketball to heights no one ever thought possible. Chapter 2: Arrival in the NBA. The late 1970s were a turbulent time for the NBA. Ratings were low, arenas were half empty, and many feared the league was going to lose its way. But in 1979, the Los Angeles Lakers made a decision that would change basketball forever. With the number one pick in the 1979 NBA draft, the Lakers selected Earvin Magic Johnson. This was a bold move. The Lakers already had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the league's most dominant center. What they needed was someone to unlock the Showtime Lakers era, someone who could transform the way the game was played. Meeting Kareem. When Magic first walked into the Lakers locker room, he wasn't the biggest star. That title belonged to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, already six-time MVP, already an NBA champion, and already an NBA legend. Kareem was serious, disciplined, and reserved. Magic, on the other hand, was young, loud, and endlessly optimistic. At first, they didn't click. Magic knew that to succeed, he had to earn Kareem's trust. He passed the ball inside, he listened, he learned, and slowly something started to build. Respect. The greatest center of all time and the point guard who would unlock him. Magic's rookie season. Magic's rookie year was electric. He averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. But those numbers don't tell the whole story. What set him apart was his energy, his joy, and the way he played the game. He made no-look passes that stunned the crowd. He turned fast breaks into art, and he made basketball fun again. Fans loved him, his teammates fed off of him, and his opponents couldn't help but admire him. The Lakers finished the 1979-1980 NBA season with 60 wins, which was the best in the Western Conference. And just like that, the kid from Lansing was about to step onto the biggest stage in basketball. The 1980 NBA Finals, the Lakers faced the Philadelphia 76ers in the 1980 NBA Finals. Led by Julius Earvin, the Sixers were fast, flashy, and dangerous. It was East versus West, star versus star. Through 5 games, the Lakers had the edge. They led the series 3-2, but in Game 5, disaster struck. Kareem twisted his ankle. His status for Game 6 in Philadelphia was uncertain. The team's leader, their best player, and their ankle was out. The Lakers needed a miracle, and they found one in a 20-year-old rookie. Magic had conquered the league in his first year, but not everything was perfect. The Lakers' locker room was divided. Coach Paul Westhead and Magic clashed over offensive philosophy. Kareem was aging and teammates had egos. And the presence of the stardom was heavy for all of Magic's joy on the court. Behind the scene, the Lakers were unstable. In the years to come, changes would reshape the Lakers. And at the center of it all, Magic Johnson would become not just a star, but the leader of a dynasty. Chapter 3: The honeymoon ends. After winning a championship as a rookie, Magic Johnson seemed unstoppable. But in the NBA, nothing stays perfect for long. The 1980-81 season was a test for Magic, as early in the year, he suffered a torn cartilage in his knee. He missed 45 games, and the Lakers fell apart without him, eventually losing in the first round of the playoffs. Although Magic returned in time for the postseason, but things didn't click, and the excitement of his rookie year was gone. Behind the scene, tension was growing. Coach Paul Westhead, who had led the Lakers to a title, had a rigid system, and it clashed with Magic's free-flowing instincts. For Magic, basketball was creativity, but for Coach Westhead, it was control, and the two couldn't coexist forever. The coup. By 1981, the relationship exploded, and Magic publicly criticized Westhead, saying he couldn't play under him anymore. The press called it a mutiny. Fans booed Magic, accusing him of forcing his coach out. But Terry Boss, the Lakers' young and ambitious owner, knew the truth. His franchise was Magic Johnson, and so West's head was gone. In his place, the Lakers turned to a young assistant coach, a man with slick back hair, sharp suits, and a Hollywood aura. His name was Pat Riley. Pat Riley was more than a coach. He was a showman. He understood Los Angeles. He understood the Lakers, and most importantly, he understood Magic Johnson. Riley unleashed him. He built an offense that ran through speed, flair, and entertainment. And it wasn't just about winning. It was about how you won. Fast breaks, dunks, alley-oop, no-look passes. It was basketball as performance, and the world would somehow come to know it as Showtime. From 1982 onwards, the Showtime Lakers ruled the NBA. Magic Johnson was the conductor, Kareem the anchor, James Worthy, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, and Kurt Rambis all played their parts, but it was Magic who made the whole thing stick. The Lakers weren't just a team, they were an experience. Celebrities packed the forum. Jack Nicholson sat courtside. Hollywood embraced the Showtime Lakers, and basketball was suddenly glamorous. The 1982 championship. In 1982, the Showtime Lakers delivered once again. The Lakers stormed through the playoffs, defeating Julius Earvin's Sixers in the finals. Magic averaged 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, winning his finals MVP for the second time in his career. But more than the numbers, it was the style the Lakers played with, a joy, charisma which the NBA had never seen. They didn't just win, they dazzled all the audience. But dynasties are never built overnight. In 1983, the Lakers faced the Philadelphia 76ers again in the finals. This time, Philadelphia had added Moses Malone, and the Lakers were overwhelmed. The Sixers swept them 4-0, Magic struggled, and Kareem looked old. The critics questioned whether the Showtime Lakers was more flash than substance. 1984, the Celtics rivalry ignites. And then came 1984, the year that defined an era. The Los Angeles Lakers versus the Boston Celtics. Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. The rivalry born in college was now reborn on the NBA's biggest stage. It was East Coast grit versus West Coast glamour, tradition versus Hollywood, and the NBA had never had a rivalry like this. The 1984 finals was war. The Lakers looked ready to win it all, but costly mistakes by Magic in Game 2 and 4 earned him a cruel nickname, Tragic Johnson. The Celtics won the series in 7 games. Larry Bird was named the finals MVP, and Magic was left devastated. The 1984 finals were painful, but they were also transformative. The NBA's television ratings skyrocketed. Millions tuned in to watch Magic versus Bird. The rivalry didn't just revive the Lakers-Celtics feud, it saved the NBA itself. 1985, redemption in Boston. In 1985, Magic and the Lakers returned to the NBA Finals. Once again, their opponents were the Boston Celtics. In Game 1 at Boston Garden, the Celtics destroyed the Lakers 148-114. The Boston crowd mocked them, calling it the Memorial Day Massacre. The critics said the Showtime Lakers couldn't win against Boston's toughness. But this time, Magic and the Lakers refused to break. They fought back game after game. Kareem, now 38 years old, turned back the clock. Magic orchestrated the offense, controlling the tempo and delivering dagger passes. And in Game 6, inside the Boston Garden, the Lakers did the unthinkable. They beat the Celtics on their home floor. For the first time in history, the Lakers defeated Boston in the finals. For Magic, it was redemption. For the Lakers, it was validation. And Showtime wasn't about just style. It had substance, and they had conquered their greatest basketball rival.
So we're at the head, and we go for blood almost. It's just we're so competitive, and I just done a good game.
1986, a lost opportunity. After defeating the Boston Celtics in 1985, the Lakers looked poised to repeat, but in 1986, their run was cut short. Facing the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference Finals, they ran into a twin tower nightmare, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon. In Game 5, Ralph Sampson hit a miraculous off-balance buzzer beater to eliminate the Lakers. The Showtime Lakers were stunned. Instead of Lakers versus Celtics, the finals gave the world the Rockets versus the Celtics. Magic was forced to watch Larry Bird win his third NBA championship. For the NBA, it was proof of how fragile dynasties could be. For Magic Johnson, it was foil to do more. 1987, the best version of Magic. 1987 was the year everything came together. Coach Pat Riley had perfected Showtime. James Worthy was in his prime. Byron Scott stretched defenses. Michael Cooper locked down stars. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, now 40, still delivered his sky hook. And at the center of it all was Magic Johnson, who was in his absolute prime. He averaged nearly 24 points, 12 assists and 6 rebounds. And he also won his first league MVP. In the playoffs, he took the Lakers to a level no one could match. 1987 Finals, Showtime vs Celtics 3. The finals gave fans exactly what they wanted. Lakers vs Celtics, Magic vs Bird, Showtime vs Boston Great, Part 3. By Game 4, the Lakers led the series 2-1, but with the Celtics up by 1 in the final seconds, everything came down to a single possession. Kareem set the screen. Magic drove into the lane, and instead of passing, he floated a running hook shot, half skyhook, half Magic. The ball aced high and dropped through the net. The Lakers stole the game in Boston Garden. They went on to win the series in 6. Magic was named Finals MVP, averaging 26 points, 13 assists, and 8 rebounds. For many, this was his masterpiece. The junior skyhook wasn't just a shot, it was a statement. Magic Johnson had gone from phenom to champion to legend. He wasn't just the Showtime conductor, he was its heartbeat. 1988, back-to-back. In 1988, the Lakers did what no team had done in almost 20 years, win back-to-back NBA championships. The road wasn't easy. In the finals, they faced Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons, the Bad Boys, a team built on toughness and intimidation. In Game 6, Isaiah scored 25 points in the third quarter on a badly sprained ankle. It was one of the gutsiest performances in finals history, but the Lakers survived. And in Game 7, James Worthy delivered a triple-double, and the Lakers clinched the title. Magic had its 5th NBA championship ring, and the Showtime Lakers were still on top. 1989, the torch passes. In 1989, the Lakers returned to the finals for a rematch with Detroit, but this time, Showtime ran out of magic. Byron Scott was injured, Magic himself pulled a hamstring, and the Pistons swept the Lakers 4-0. The Bad Boys had taken the throne. For the first time in years, Magic looked vulnerable, and Showtime wasn't dead, but its dominance was fading away. 1990, Magic the MVP. Even as the team aged, Magic himself reached new heights. In 1989 and 1990, he won back-to-back MVP awards. He controlled games without needing to score 40 points. He dictated tempo, exploited mismatches, and elevated teammates. Magic had transformed into the most versatile point guard the league had ever seen. He could play all 5 positions. He could outthink defenses before they even reacted. and he did it all with joy. But by 1990, the NBA was changing. A new generation was rising. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were coming. The era of the Showtime Lakers was nearing its end. Chapter 6: The Comeback and Retirement Aftermath, 1993 to 1996. Trying to return. After his 1991 retirement, Magic Johnson still felt the pull of the game. He trained, stayed in shape, and even considered a full comeback. In 1992, he attempted to join the Lakers in the preseason, but the reaction from other players was mixed. Some feared playing against someone with HIV, not yet understanding how the disease was transmitted. The stigma was still strong. Facing backlash, Magic stepped away again. For a competitor like Magic, it was heartbreaking. He knew he could still play, but the world wasn't ready. The coaching experiment. In 1994, the Lakers brought Magic back, not as a player, but as their head coach. He stepped onto the sidelines in a suit, hoping to inspire as he once had on the court. But coaching was different. The Lakers went 5-11 under his leadership, and Magic realized that he wasn't ready for the role of a coach. He later joked that coaching was the hardest thing he had ever done. By the end of the season, he stepped down. 1996, one last dance, but Magic wasn't finished. In January 1996, nearly 5 years after his retirement, he shocked the world. He was coming back as a player. At 36 years old, Magic Johnson returned to the Lakers lineup, older, slower and heavier, but still brilliant. In his first game back, he scored 19 points, 8 rebounds and 10 assists. The forum erupted. Showtime lived again, even it was just for a moment. Magic played 32 games that season, averaging 15 points, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. He showed flashes of his genius, including a 29-point and 14-assist performance against the Atlanta Hawks. But the Lakers were rebuilding around young stars, and it wasn't Showtime anymore. After the season, Magic retired for good. No more comebacks, no more experiments. The basketball chapter was closed, but his life story was only just beginning. Chapter 6: The Comeback and Retirement Aftermath, 1993 to 1996. Trying to return. After his 1991 retirement, Magic Johnson still felt the pull of the game. He trained, stayed in shape, and even considered a full comeback. In 1992, he attempted to join the Lakers in the preseason, but the reaction from other players was mixed. Some feared playing against someone with HIV, not yet understanding how the disease was transmitted. The stigma was still strong. Facing backlash, Magic stepped away again. For a competitor like Magic, it was heartbreaking. He knew he could still play, but the world wasn't ready. The coaching experiment. In 1994, the Lakers brought Magic back, not as a player, but as their head coach. He stepped onto the sidelines in a suit, hoping to inspire as he once had on the court. But coaching was different. The Lakers went 5-11 under his leadership, and Magic realized that he wasn't ready for the role of a coach. He later joked that coaching was the hardest thing he had ever done. By the end of the season, he stepped down. 1996, one last dance, but Magic wasn't finished. In January 1996, nearly 5 years after his retirement, he shocked the world. He was coming back as a player. At 36 years old, Magic Johnson returned to the Lakers lineup, older, slower and heavier, but still brilliant. In his first game back, he scored 19 points, 8 rebounds and 10 assists. The forum erupted. Showtime lived again, even it was just for a moment. Magic played 32 games that season, averaging 15 points, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. He showed flashes of his genius, including a 29-point and 14-assist performance against the Atlanta Hawks. But the Lakers were rebuilding around young stars, and it wasn't Showtime anymore. After the season, Magic retired for good. No more comebacks, no more experiments. The basketball chapter was closed, but his life story was only just beginning. Business empire and community impact. When Magic Johnson walked away from basketball, many wondered what his next act would be. For most athletes, the story ends at retirement, but for Magic, retirement was just the beginning. Building an empire. Magic Johnson reinvented himself as a businessman. He founded Magic Johnson Enterprises, a company that invested in underserved communities. Where others saw risk, Magic saw opportunity. He believed that if you brought businesses into urban neighborhoods, you could uplift entire communities. He opened movie theaters in arenas most companies ignored. He built Starbucks franchises in black neighborhoods that corporations had overlooked. He turned commercial real estate into community hubs. Over time, his business empire grew to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Sport ownership. Magic's vision didn't stop at neighborhoods. He became a trailblazer in sport ownership. He bought shares in the Los Angeles Lakers, his beloved team. Later, he became a part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, helping bring back a World Series title to the city in 2020. He invested in soccer with LAFC, in basketball with the WNBA's Spark. Magic Johnson wasn't just a former athlete, he was now shaping the future of sports as an owner. But perhaps most important was his role as an advocate. Magic used his platform to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS. He spoke openly, gave interviews, and started the Magic Johnson Foundation, dedicated to HIV prevention, research, and education. His courage turned stigma into progress, and his story saved lives. Legacy of Showtime and influence on basketball, revolutionizing the game. On the court, Magic Johnson was more than a champion, he was a revolution. At 6'9", he played point guard, a position reserved for smaller men. He blurred the lines between positions. He could play 1 through 5. He made passing as exciting as scoring, and he proved that basketball could be beautiful. The Showtime effect. The Showtime Lakers weren't just a team, they were entertainment. They turned basketball into a spectacle that fitted perfectly with Los Angeles, with Hollywood stars in the stands, fast breaks under the lights, and a soundtrack of joy. Showtime created the modern NBA product, basketball as a sport and entertainment, saving the NBA. Alongside Larry Bird, Magic Johnson is credited with saving the NBA. In the late 1970s, the league was struggling with low ratings, declining attendance, and a damaged reputation, but Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, West versus East, Lakers versus Celtics captivated the nation. The rivalry set the stage for Michael Jordan to take the NBA global. Inspiring generations. Magic inspired a ton of players, with modern NBA players like Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, and LeBron James all citing Magic as their blueprints. Today's positionless basketball, where big men dribble and pass like guards, traces directly back to him. Chapter 9. Final Reflection. Earvin Magic Johnson's story is more than basketball. It's about joy, it's about resilience, and it's also about leadership on and off the court. He was born in Lansing, Michigan, and he rose through high school gyms and college arenas to the bright lights of Los Angeles. He led the Showtime Lakers, won 5 NBA championships, 3 MVPs, and forever changed the game of basketball. He faced the darkest moment of his life when he announced that he had HIV and turned into a beacon of hope for millions. He built an empire, invested in communities, and built a symbol of success far beyond sports. Magic Johnson didn't just play basketball, he lived it, shared it, and made the game something bigger and brighter. And long after the Showtime Lakers stopped running fast breaks, the magic never left. And this is the legacy of Magic Johnson. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.